Hey, you listen to Wrestling Roundup on FreeFM 89.0, ArrowFM and NPR. As always, I'm Grady, and live on Skype we got Josh.
Hey!
It's SummerSlam week, and that means we once again, as always, have to cram a massive amount of wrestling into half an hour. So we're just going to go straight into the matches. It's not officially on the pre-show, but I'm sure it will be by the time this airs. The Cruiserweight Championship, Drew Gulak defending against Oney Lorcan.
I mean, they only announced it like 24 hours ago.
Yeah,
Jeez.
it'll still find a way to get onto the pre-show within the next 24 hours.
Yeah. Again, why should we care?
Oh, you're being real harsh on these cruisers. You're just bringing your axe through, just swinging.
I have good reason for it, though. I'll go with I'll say the reigning champion successfully retains.
Okay, fair enough pick. It's very much the way I'm going through it as well. Oney Lorcan sort of busting into the Cruiserweight division, putting on quite a hell of a showcase, but I don't think he's going to be the guy who's going to knock off Drew and be the next champion. I feel like the next champion after Drew, they're going to have to put somebody in there that, as you say, will make everybody care. And I don't know who that person is quite yet, but I know that it's probably not Oney Lorcan, sadly, because he's one hell of a wrestler.
I would have been fine with Orly taking it if it wasn't for the fact that he wasn't named as the contender until literally 5 days before the match.
That was some quick math. Well, fair enough, but let's leave the cruiserweights alone before you keep swinging at them. Let's leave them alone and move on to some of these non-title matches, because we got a lot of matches. Every single match on the SummerSlam card, all 10 of them, are singles matches. They may have stipulations, I'll rephrase, they're all one-on-one matches. And we're going to kick off with the first legend on the card, Charlotte Flair taking on Trish Stratus.
Facing another legend.
That is a bold call. Those were some words you said there.
Let's be honest, Charlotte is pretty much a legend already.
It all comes down to your definition of legend, right? Legend to me at least used to meant someone who's, retired and not going to appear every 10 seconds, but then that sort of definition blurred quite badly. So maybe I just go with not active?
My definition of a legend is somebody who is a surefire, first ballot. This is a person that would head the WWE Hall of Fame class if they were going to be inducted, if they weren't already, or going to be inducted future. So Charlotte definitely qualifies for that. I think this is supposed to be Trish's last match. I think and Charlotte's the perfect person to go in because they can get a good match out of with Charlotte. Charlotte goes over and is the Queen of All Eras. Okay.
You know what? It's last week you swayed me to the fact that it wasn't going to be easily a Charlotte win, or obviously a Charlotte win. You're like, oh, maybe the legend's going to pick up the win. And I was like, cool. And I got swayed so much that I have picked Trish Stratus to win this match. And then you just come shattering down, bring the building down around me as you pick Charlotte in the official pick'ems. I got screwed, but I'm gonna stick with my pick. I'm gonna pick Trish. I got to now. And this leads on to our other legend match. Dolph Ziggler taking on Goldberg, because The Miz screwed him.
The Miz played him like a fiddle. I'll take Goldberg in this match. Definitely was a worse option in the three.
Yeah, it was, yes.
So it's fine. I think Goldberg absolutely kills Dolph Ziggler. I'm thinking Kevin Owens Universal title match type of killing.
Oh, okay.
But yeah, there's no way Dolph Ziggler goes over Goldberg.
No, there's
he
so
doesn't
many.
Even give Dolph Ziggler's chance.
There's so many things stacked up against Dolph Ziggler in this match. The first of which is he's Dolph Ziggler, right? And then the second of which is he's going up against Goldberg. You'd already
He's only lost clean to like 3 people in his entire career.
You'd already have like 0 chance at that point. But then you're going up against a Goldberg who was really unhappy with his last match and probably would like a high note here at SummerSlam. You got even less of a chance now. And then you going up against Goldberg while still actively holding feuds against The Miz and Shawn Michaels. You got no chance.
Yeah, he was doing that reverse Steiner math.
You're getting just less and less of a chance, Ziggler. There's just nothing. There's a 0. I will put 0 down on paper for Dolph Ziggler here. But what I will probably put at about 80% is the chance of Dolph Ziggler to eat a super kick by the end of the show.
Yeah, definitely makes sense.
Then we still got so many more singles matches. Kevin Owens, you talked about him earlier with his Universal title. Well, this time he's got a little bit of a chance because he's going up against Shane McMahon, and if Kevin Owens loses, he will be forced to quit the WWE for the 15th million time.
I'm going Shane McMahon.
No.
Not because I want to see... Because I want to see what they do with the quitting WWE storyline.
Okay.
Because you know he won't actually leave. So I want to see where they go with it.
Generally, when there's a person who's unhappy with the WWE and would like to quit the company, they are not put into a highlight spot in the second biggest pay-per-view of the year with the stipulation that if they lose, they will quit, and then they actually quit. I would be surprised if that's ever happened, off the top of my head. But with Kevin Owens, you got Shane. It feels very much like we are, and I don't want to downplay this entire feud, but we're trying to sort of rely a little bit, pull a little bit of inspiration from, that might be the best way of saying it, another person who used the stunner, and another McMahon.
Which is why I said I picked Shane to win this match. Is to play into that authority angle. Not to mention, this is the exact match we had last year, just different stipulations.
So
because then we had we had this going forward after SummerSlam last year, but because Shane was the special guest referee for Kevin Owens and AJ Styles.
Yeah.
But so yeah, this is kind of 180 from the other direction. Kevin Owens won that feud. So let's get the ball rolling on this feud with a Shane McMahon win.
Of course you're giving it to Shane McMahon. You just had to. I also can't find the match. I couldn't Google fast enough. So I'm just going to ignore it and move on. I will pick... Oh, you're swaying me again. You're too good with your opinions. I came into this wanting to pick Kevin Owens. I think you've swayed me. I think I'm picking Shane McMahon. God damn you. Don't reverse on me again and next week say, oh, I knew Kevin was going to win the whole time, because then I'm done. And then our last non-title match, Finn Balor versus The Fiend.
I have really been enjoying The Fiend. The last couple weeks he's been attacking people, and he's adopted the mandible claw. It's nice to see older moves brought into the forefront. Obviously, Bray Wyatt's winning. This is his first match in this new gimmick. There's no way he loses, and Finn's going off to go have some alone time with his new fiance, have some time off before coming back at SummerSlam, at Survivor Series to take the Universal Championship.
See, you convinced me that was the storyline we're going down as well. I'm fully behind this.
So, Bray wins. Finn takes time off. Everybody wins in the end.
But mostly Bray.
Yeah.
The Fiend isn't losing on its debut. I quite like what Bray's doing with the whole split personality thing. Again, much like I said, Owens versus Shane is drawing from Austin McMahon. Bray Wyatt, split personality, adopting the mandible claw. Some people could say drawing from Mankind. But in this case, the Bray Wyatt is like a psychopathic kids show presenter who turns into a demon. A little bit further than just being a little loopy in the head. But no, it's a Bray Wyatt win. You'd be silly to pick anything else in that match. That is halfway through the matches. I'm sure it's not halfway through the talking, but what it does mean is that it is time for our entrance theme. Josh, tell them why you picked 2002.
It's just one of my favorite SummerSlams, with one of my favorite matches as well for SummerSlam, and that being Triple H versus HBK and HBK's return match after being gone for 4 years due to injury.
Nice and easy explanation, and now we're going to roll into SummerSlam 2002's theme, Fight. And you're back with Wrestling Roundup on FreeFM 89.0 ArrowFM NPR. I'm Grady, he's Josh. We still have 5 more matches to talk about with SummerSlam, and let's start with the United States Championship. Ricochet going up against the champion AJ Styles.
This is a candidate to be the match of the night. This is going to be an amazing match. And much to my chagrin, AJ Styles will retain. Likely with help from the OC.
You're picking against Ricochet.
Shocking,
you are a
right?
madman. You said this was just like when we were doing the Iconics, but I never picked against them. They always gonna win until they lost already. But, okay. If you believe in AJ Styles so much that you are willing to pick against Ricochet, I kinda gotta believe it.
I just have to play the logic here. My heart is with Ricochet. I would be ecstatic if he won it. But the storyline, I don't think, just fits with the Ricochet hot potatoing the title back to him. And I really think that the OC is going to be carrying gold for a while. And then when Finn comes back, joining them and getting the Universal title and having all the gold on Raw.
That's the reason you're taking Ricochet down to support your long-term booking idea. Why didn't I think about this? As much as I'm bagging on you for picking against Ricochet, I'm also openly going to pick against Ricochet. Much for the very same reasons you said. I don't see Ricochet hot potatoing the title. We have seen weirder things, but it doesn't really make a whole lot of sense.
Like Dolph Ziggler winning a United States Championship title that he shouldn't have won.
Yeah. But AJ Styles looks pretty dominant at the moment. He's got the OC, who as far as right now are not booked on the card. So I'm sure they'll be sticking their nose in where they don't belong, ultimately costing Ricochet, as you say. I think this is the point to mention all of the championships that, as of right now, when we recorded this, have not made it to the SummerSlam card. So first off, we have the Raw Tag Team titles, held by the OC, not on the card at the moment, but they may get involved in the AJ Styles stuff. And we also have the SmackDown Tag Team titles, currently held by the New Day, also not on the card, but also might get involved in another championship match. R-Truth's 24/7 title was never on the card.
But likely there will be a segment.
Yeah, it will probably find its way onto the card, but it won't be booked for the card. And then we also have the third tag team titles, the Women's Tag Team Championships, now around the waists of Alexa Bliss and Nikki Cross.
We might get a moment of bliss segment where they brag about it.
Sure. This is my way of mentioning that we have new Women's Tag Team Champions without having to acknowledge the fact that certain people lost them. And now I'm going to move on without mentioning that event ever. And Shinsuke Nakamura's Intercontinental title is also not here at the Mo. So that's quite a bit of gold left off the card. Let's just shove them all in one big match. Don't do that, please. But I could see one more match getting itself onto the card at SummerSlam. Will it be a title match? Dunno, maybe a non-title tag match. But there's room for another. Like, if we look at last year's SummerSlam, we had 10 matches on the show and then 3 on the pre-show. A couple of those were quite rushed and quite squashy, but it was 13, and we only have 10 at the moment, so I could see them going to 11, putting something else on the pre-show with the Cruiserweight title. Mainly because if I look at this, I don't see them putting any of the title matches on the pre-show. Owens McMahon probably won't be, The Fiend's debut won't be, and Goldberg and Trish won't be. So at the moment in my head, Cruiserweight's the only one that's going to be sitting over on the pre-show, so maybe give it some friends. Now we're on to the big 4 titles. Which one do you want to talk about first?
Let's go to the SmackDown Women's Championship.
Bayley versus Ember Moon.
All aboard the Ember train.
Nicely, you picked the only one that I believe a title will change hands in, so quite happy with that.
Bayley's had a good reign this time. It's time to elevate Ember. And I really like Ember a lot, and I really do have high hopes for her.
Yeah, as you say, Bayley, a lot better than last time. Had a decent one, though. Ember Moon I've been high on since NXT. And was hoping for good things. Injuries really jumped in, was a pretty big stopping point, but if Ember's 100% and ready to go, I want to see what she's going to do with some main roster championships. There's so many matches you can do, so many combinations, and just flick her on over. What one's next? I'm leaving it up to you, the whole order of these 4. You can stay SmackDown, you can stay Women's, or you can flip entirely.
Let's get the Universal Championship out of the way.
Brock Lesnar, full stop, no more conversation? Is that what you wanted to get to? I feel like Brock Lesnar is not losing.
Yeah, the whole storyline has been built around getting Seth's sympathy. The problem is they're getting him the wrong kind of sympathy. Instead of wanting to see him overcome the odds, fans are wanting to see him give up. Because they're worried for the very well-being of his very life. I could see them pulling some kind of stunt and having Seth win, but the odds of that are very, very low.
What do you think, roughly a Dolph Ziggler's chance?
A
classic Dolph Ziggler's chance, not a new Dolph Ziggler's chance.
Yeah, probably. But yeah, I think Brock retains and holds on to it for a little bit longer before getting conquered by the OC.
Yep. Again, this whole SummerSlam, you're just picking all your winners that leads to this like end of the long-term booking that you have in your head. Oh, everything on Raw is going to be just dictated by exactly that.
Jeez. It's not like I've not done that before and had it work out.
Yeah, usually you're pretty... I don't know if I want to say skilled or lucky. A little bit of a mix of both. In some of your long-term predictions that have just happened to perfectly pay off.
And then some pretty damn lucky on some just random predictions as well.
They're always impressive when they happen. WWE Championship or Raw Women's?
Let's go to the Raw Women's.
Okay, leaving Kofi till last. So that is Becky Lynch defending against Canada's own Natalya.
It should be a decent match. I don't see any reason why it won't be a good match. Them making a submission match after last week saying that they weren't is kind of stupid. It should be interesting. Submission matches are hit and miss, really. So, I'm building us all up to the man retains.
Yeah.
I love
you could take
Natalya
10 seconds.
to death, but she is not the one to conquer the man.
Yeah, you could have taken 10 seconds or 10 minutes. I feel like the end of that sentence was always going to be Becky Lynch retains. It'll be cool to see Natalya come out with this huge opportunity, in Canada and everything as well, and put on a great match. Like, Natalya isn't bad, but she's just not going to be the one to beat Becky. She's going to fall short, and the man will retain. The brand new WWE 2K20 cover star will retain.
And then we'll probably hear some bad reputations.
Okay. That's a bold prediction. Well, let's see if that one pays off.
It's not that bold to predict that Ronda Rousey would make her return at SummerSlam.
Yeah. Let's, I'm gonna guess. I'm gonna take a wild guess what match you've left. Do you want to do the WWE Championship match next?
Let's do the WWE Championship match.
Kofi Kingston defending against Randy Orton. Is it 2007? But in an alternate universe.
Don't you mean 2009?
Damn it! I always forget my years.
Yeah, 2007 was like
I should
Kofi's
never make a
debut
joke.
year.
I should never try and make jokes based around years because I always get them wrong.
This should be a really good match. The story has been built really well, and has been built basically around Kofi and his feelings about being held down. I don't know. I really don't know who's going to win this match. That's the way they built this story.
Okay.
I'm going to flip a coin.
Oh, okay. Do I have to? I was gonna say, do I have to stall for you to find a coin?
I'm going to go with the new WWE champion, Randy Orton.
Okay. I, for the first time on this card, I think, am going to go against you and go with Kofi Kingston retaining. I don't know. I just look at it, and as you say, the way the storyline's been built, the whole being held down, the Randy Orton taking out Ali, leading to all of this, the looking back at 2009, and everything. I don't know. I just feel like if Randy wins, I guess all the evil people win at SummerSlam, don't they?
That's pretty typical. WrestleMania is for the faces, SummerSlam is for the heels.
God damn it. So that's why Dolph Ziggler's gonna win, right?
Except in that case.
There's an exception to every rule. Yeah, I'll go with Kofi. But I will also flip a coin, but I don't have coins around my desk, so Kofi! Now we have a smidgen of time to look at NXT TakeOver Toronto. We already talked about the 2 out of 3 falls match for the NXT Championship between Adam Cole and Johnny Gargano. Quick reminder, who you picking?
Adam Cole.
Baby. Tag team match as well for the NXT Tag Team Championship. Street Profits, brand new champs, going up against the Undisputed Era's Kyle O'Reilly and Bobby Fish.
I need the Street Profits to retain.
You know what? I'm gonna go against you because it's NXT. I'm gonna go with Undisputed Era. I know Street Profits just had the belts, and I know it makes kinda no sense to take it off them, but I'm going with it.
Well, it makes all the world actually to take them off of them because they're on Raw now. So it would make sense. But in my own personal world, I want them to hold the titles for as long as possible.
Yeah. How'd that work with Ricochet, huh?
I got a good month out of it.
The NXT North American Championship is in a triple threat. Velveteen Dream will be defending against NXT UK alumni Pete Dunne and the Undisputed Era's Roderick Strong.
New North American champion, Pete Dunne.
No.
This will be,
I
think this has candidate for match of the weekend.
Oh, yeah.
Written all over it. I'm all aboard the Pete Dunne train. The guy's really young and really, really good.
I'm gonna hop on the Roderick Strong train. So I'm sorry, Velveteen Dream, but neither of us are picking you to retain. And that leads, with Grady's predictions, to the Undisputed Era holding all 3 belts. Much like the New Day holds the SmackDown belts, and the OC could hold the Raw belts. Just going with some good old stable warfare. The NXT Women's Championship, Shayna Baszler defending against Mia Yim.
Give me Mia Yim. It's time for Shayna to finally fall and then head to Raw or SmackDown.
It works pretty well with your Ronda Rousey prediction, I will say. I could see Baszler versus Lynch. I could see it. And then the final match on the card, Io Shirai taking on Candice LeRae.
Somebody in the relationship between Candice LeRae and Joey Gargano has to win. Give her the match.
Oh, I'm going against you again. NXT is the brand of disagreements, because I'm going to take Io Shirai, and that's also the end of the show, because that's all we have time for. It's been great talking to you. You can visit our Facebook page, facebook.com/WrestlingRadio, Twitter page, twitter.com/WrestlingRadio, and we'll see you all next week with the results from SummerSlam, and if we have time, NXT TakeOver Toronto.